In today's video, we're diving into why many wealthy retirees are secretly struggling. And I have a unique perspective here because most of my clients and the people I talk to regularly have net worths well over $1 million. With so much information online about retirement planning, I wanted to share insights from my personal experience as a behavioral financial advisor, and I've seen many firsthand challenges that wealthy retirees face. But I've also had the conversations that help them overcome these obstacles. So stay with me and we'll talk through some of these real life examples together. Before we jump into the first reason so many rich retirees are struggling, I want to share a chart with you. I call this chart the 5 stages of fears and concerns in personal finance because it really highlights that no matter what stage of life you're in, we all have shared concerns around money. And that's universal. There are always going to be some concerns about fears and money that start out in your earlier career. You start your career excited and full of hope, but the one thing you don't have is money. So here, the struggle is pretty obvious and why many young people fall into this category. But then as you start to see success in your career, the struggling goes down a bit. You're probably feeling great about your prospects and opportunities. You have a bit more discretionary income, and then eventually you're firing on all cylinders in your 40s. You may have a few kids, life is more expensive, but that's okay. You're killing it. And then stage 4 hits, and you start to ask yourself questions and think to yourself, this is all great, but am I missing something here? Now that I have all the money that I have been working so hard for, did I set my family up for success if I can't work? What if I prematurely pass away? How do I keep all this money I have worked so hard for? And these questions start to build a wall of worry that many rich people start to struggle with. In the final stage, you may find yourself reflecting on your legacy and life decisions. Suddenly, you're faced with complex choices about how to fairly distribute your wealth, and interfamily concerns come into play. It's a different kind of struggle, driven by the emotions and behaviors that you developed over a lifetime. And these can be tough to overcome. One of the key struggles for wealthy retirees is balancing the desire to help their children now versus letting them inherit the money later. Conversations around these topics are ongoing, like a post that recently went viral on Reddit. I'll share the post here with you in its original form, though please excuse the language, but it perfectly encapsulates this dilemma. And I'll give you a few seconds to read over it here. So let's unpack this together. And so much of the context is missing, but I think it still makes for an interesting discussion. It sounds that the poster's attitude about their parents changed as soon as they found out how much money they had. And it sounds like they felt entitled to their parents' money as soon as they found out about it. This raises questions about family money and when the right time to help your kids actually is. Do you let them struggle? Are your kids actually good with money? How many European vacations has this kid gone on while struggling? And what else do they spend their money on? Millennials are spending way more money than their older generations at this time in their career. But also, life is more expensive. Daycare while 2 parents working is insanely expensive. I know, I'm starting to look into it for my daughter. And it's these kind of posts that make rich families think twice about how they give their money to the next generation. And I could see both sides here. On one hand, I think most families want the best for their kids and grandkids. I know my parents do for me and my sisters. But what happens when, in this example, the parents start to give money to help out? Is it now expected that every year they're just going to get $50,000 or whatever that amount is? Does that now give them the freedom to just spend more money on better vacations, nicer cars, living a more lavish lifestyle, one that the parents might not even be living themselves? And these are the kinds of nuanced scenarios I love talking about. And on this channel, if you like hearing about these kind of examples, please like and subscribe. I am actively trying to grow this channel, so your engagement is truly appreciated. I share these examples because they reflect real life conversations I am having with people. Life isn't always straightforward, and when you add emotions into the mix, especially around money, things can get even more complicated. One way to navigate this complexity is by having a family meeting to discuss shared family values. Talk about the vision you have for the future for future generations and why you worked so hard throughout your career to build financial security. Parents can open up about their relationship with money, what it was like growing up in a different era, and why they feel a sense of scarcity around their wealth. Discuss concerns about healthcare costs down the road or the importance of charitable giving to help those who are less fortunate. These conversations need to happen sooner than later, especially for families with significant wealth. Establishing a shared family purpose can lead to greater clarity, and it might even allow for more generous giving during your lifetime if everyone is aligned on the family's financial values. Our first example of inheritance timing naturally leads into the second issue that many wealthy retirees struggle with: the perceived fairness of these gifts, both during their lifetime and after they pass. If you have multiple children, do you distribute that money equally, or does one child receive more for various reasons? What if one child has been significantly more successful in their career or financially than the others? I've seen these situations where one child was given substantial financial help while the other wasn't, based on the circumstances at that time. This can create tension, especially if the more successful child feels their hard work, like the long hours they sacrificed to become a doctor, wasn't acknowledged in the same way as their siblings' needs. Resentment over the perceived fairness of the gift can quickly arise. I mention this because at the end of the day, you're free to do with your money what you want to do. But these are the unintended consequences of your decisions and the responsibilities that they have. Again, I believe it all comes down to open communication. Even if your children don't fully agree with your decision, having these conversations can help ease tension and avoid long-term family discord. Another reason wealthy retirees hesitate to help their children now is the uncertainty around healthcare costs in retirement. To clarify, we're not talking about retirees with $10+ million or more like in the previous example. We're focused on those with a net worth of $1 to $3 million. Many of these individuals are reluctant to give away or even spend their money because they worry about their own healthcare expenses as they age. Older retirees often witness friends or peers facing critical illnesses or passing away, with healthcare costs draining their savings. They don't want to become a financial burden on their children, so they hold on to their wealth as a precaution. Long-term care facilities, for instance, aren't covered by Medicare and can be extremely expensive if you want to qualify for a quality facility. The conversation I have with these retirees often revolves around preparing for the unknown. While no one can predict exactly what will happen, we can plan for worst-case scenarios and estimates that will be left over at the end of your life. One approach is to explore long-term care insurance options. These days, there are flexible products designed to help people in the $1 to $3 million net worth range that offer more tailored solutions than in the past. For example, some insurance policies allow you to buy a leveraged monthly income for long-term care needs, but if you don't end up using it, the money is passed on to your heirs as a tax-free death benefit. So by building in some of these planning opportunities, you can spend more money now, do family vacations, or even help out financially and still feel financially secure in your decisions. I created this video to show that money-related struggles affects people at every stage of life. Struggling with money doesn't always mean financial insecurity. It can also stem from the emotional ties we have and how we earned, grew, and plan to use our wealth when the time comes. I hope this video sheds some light on some of those concerns. These are the kind of meaningful conversations I love having with people. If you're looking for a discussion that goes beyond just markets and investments, my schedule is open for a meeting. I'd be happy to talk about what excites you or some of the struggles you're facing, even the ones you haven't shared yet. You can find my meeting link in the description, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.